So One Piece has been going on for 22 years now. Yes, you heard me right, 22 years. In that time, we have seen amazing series come and go. Series like Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist, Bleach, Naruto, Attack on Titan, Gantz, Fruits Basket, Bakuman, and so many others. Which is why the question of why hasn't One Piece ended yet plagues me. And the answer is obvious. Cause the story isn't finished, duh. Of course I understand that, but why has the story taken 22 years to develop? And what story even takes 22 years to develop? Well, if we're gonna answer this question, we're gonna have to analyze the series as a whole, and Oda himself. So sit back and enjoy. Why hasn't One Piece ended yet? If you're a One Piece fan, you are bound to know that Oda has planned the ending from the start. The ending has still, after 22 years, not been figured out yet. Which means Oda is either a genius, or we One Piece fans just don't have all the pieces to the puzzle yet. Which makes you think, how is that even possible? After 22 years, not one fan has guessed the ending correct, or correctly guessed what the One Piece truly is. If we really don't have all the pieces of the puzzle to figure this out, then that has to mean the pacing in One Piece is awful. But this isn't true. The pacing is actually done quite well, and of course there are slow moments, but it seems with the release of every new chapter, there's a new theory based off the information given in that chapter. Oda actually never planned for it to take this long to get to what the One Piece treasure is and the actual ending of One Piece. In SBS Volume 42, Oda details how he thought One Piece would originally only take 5 years to write. The number 5 seems to be strong with Oda because anytime we get news about One Piece ending, it's always that the series will end in the next 5 years. From this though, the question becomes, how has a 5-year story taken over 22 years to write? And for that, we have to look at Oda's writing style. Some of my favorite manga arcs of all time are written by Oda. Marineford is an example of what is a 10 out of 10 arc for me. But I think we can all agree on one thing. Marineford wouldn't be what it was without character development and world building. And caution for any One Piece fan who hasn't watched or read Marineford yet. And if you haven't, what the frick are you doing watching this video? Get off of YouTube and go to Crunchyroll and watch what is arguably One Piece's greatest arc. Now, Marineford is an arc completely built on the reader's past knowledge of these characters and their experiences. And if you need a reminder of what Marineford was, it was basically the arc where Luffy goes to save his brother Ace from getting executed. Now Ace is someone the One Piece community loves. This is because of Oda's treatment of the character. Many of us can agree that many other mangaka would not spend as much time developing Ace as Oda did. And what's crazy is that Ace was rarely in the story. But what made Ace such an iconic character is that when he was in the story, Oda wrote him so perfectly that you understood his importance to the world, his characteristics, and his bond with Luffy. This is one of the reasons why One Piece is so long. Oda spends time on characters who aren't the main protagonists and fleshes them out in order for us to care for them. If Oda simply did what other mangaka did, and just used these characters to amplify the main protagonist, neglecting that character's story, I truly believe the series would be over by now. But Oda knows moments like Ace being captured wouldn't mean much to us if we didn't care for him. And when Ace sadly gets executed, Oda knows that we would never cry for him if he didn't take the time to flesh out this character. And rest in peace, Ace. We love you, man. In Marineford, we also see the conversation between Garp and Ace, which I could honestly do a whole video on. Now, Oda, as I detailed before, fleshes out these characters prior to big events, so that these big events don't just matter to Luffy and his crew, but also to us, the readers. But that's only half of the work. When these characters reach the end of their character arc, Oda has to make sure he ends their arc right so that they will be ingrained in legend. Ace could have easily just been killed, but a number of things had to happen before his death. His conversation with Garp shows true emotion between the two. It doesn't seem forced or fake, and most importantly, it is a clear ending to that relationship between Garp and Ace, as Ace must die. But then we see Ace's true ending. You see, Oda doesn't only care about Luffy's crew and their dreams, but also about the many characters that he has fleshed out. Oda always ensures that when he is ending a character's arc, he is also addressing their one true dream. Ace, after getting struck by a Akainu and seeing the amount of people that came to rescue him and the impact he has had on the world, tells Luffy, "Thank you for loving me." A scene that made me cry like a little baby. The reason why this scene hits so hard is because Oda wrote Ace with quality and took his time with the character, detailing his backstory of being the child of Gol D. Roger, a child no one could love. Although sad, Ace's execution was where Ace could truly see the magnitude of people that loved and cared for him. And Oda is a master writer for being able to still give a happy ending to a character whose only ending was death. Now that we talked about character development, let's talk about world building. The past world building of One Piece was essential for Marineford. When I first read the first few arcs of One Piece, I thought the Navy would just be some minor villains like Team Rocket from Pokemon. But the further we got in the series, the more Oda developed the world. I think when I started to grasp the evil nature of the Navy is when the Celestial Dragons were introduced. These people who were seen as higher than humans and who enslaved people were clear bad guys. Oda gradually built up the enemy of the Navy to be the big bad of the story. And in a way, Marineford works to continue this world building, as the death of Ace just teaches that no one can beat the Navy. Another aspect of this world building is on the pirate side. A major thing for the pirates are the bounties. Gradually seeing the increasing bounties gives the reader satisfaction in knowing their character is growing. The pirate world has numerous world building devices like the bounties, Devil Fruit, legendary crews, the 7 warlords, etc. From the world building, we know how infamous Gol D. Roger is, which makes our reaction to Ace being his child even grander. The world building in One Piece affects the strengths of the characters' development and how they move and navigate in this world. The amount of time Oda spends on world building will of course increase the length of the story, but it will always ensure it will all wrap up nicely and cohesively. If you were paying attention to my comments about Oda's writing style, you would notice that he puts attention and detail into every important character. Whether we know they're important or not, which is why I say there's too much to write. Oda is not a slacker and would not rush to finish these characters' arcs, but more and more characters are being added that are essential to the story. One example is Im, who is literally the final boss of One Piece that we just met after hundreds and hundreds of chapters. The problem is that Oda has so many important characters and his work ethic won't let him slack on each character's development, which means he is gonna be spending a lot of extra time on specific characters when he could have already been on the next arc of One Piece. I'm personally fine with this as long as the overall story keeps moving forward, which it is. But it does make you wonder, is it really possible for Oda to end One Piece in the next 10 years with all those loose ends and characters he needs to go into? And will this motivation to keep writing One Piece stay as he continues to get older? To me, I 100% believe there's a chance that we could just get a rushed ending of One Piece if Oda loses passion for the series, and or if he is just too old to keep writing it at the pace he is now. I know it's a terrible thing to think, but I don't think anyone can prove me wrong. But in the end, this is Oda's series and he decides how long it will be. One Piece is a series adored by all types of people. The story catches all of our hearts and the community is amazing. So, do we really want to see the Straw Hats adventure end? In my opinion, no. But that's just a sign of a great series. Because like every other manga, it must end. But for now, we can all bask in the fact that it won't be ending anytime soon. And that has been Why Hasn't One Piece Ended Yet? And I hope you enjoyed. It's been Anything TV, and I'm out. Deuces.